Let's talk about something the regulators themselves have already admitted. Amazon Web Services, or AWS, isn't just a private tech company selling servers. It's one of the largest infrastructure providers for our financial markets. In fact, US CFTC commissioners, that's the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, have made multiple public statements about AWS in the past 2 years. First, Commissioner Christy Goldsmith Romero joined the AWS Gov Summit in Washington, D.C. That event was about responsible AI innovation for the public sector. Why does that matter? Because it shows AWS is actively marketing itself as a trusted partner to government agencies, promising security, promising oversight, promising reliability. Second, Commissioner Kristen Johnson gave keynote remarks at Yale Law in April 2025. She specifically pointed out that Microsoft and AWS are the two largest data center providers. She also warned that stolen AWS credentials had been used by attackers to inject malicious code into systems. In other words, regulators already know AWS is a systemic vulnerability when it comes to cybersecurity and market integrity. Third, at the Africa FinTech Summit 2025, Commissioner Johnson again highlighted AWS partnerships, saying fintech companies rely on providers like AWS, Microsoft, and Google to expand financial access worldwide. That means AWS isn't just some neutral cloud. It's embedded directly in the global financial system. Now, why is this relevant to my case? Because AWS has been documented as the host for the fraudulent domains Intellisoft.rest and Intellisoft.one. These platforms ran a pig butchering scam, stealing cryptocurrency from victims, myself included. Abuse reports were filed, evidence was sent, and AWS kept billing the criminals while pretending that fraud hosted on their servers was somehow outside U.S. jurisdiction. But the CFTC commissioner's own words prove that AWS cannot hide behind that excuse. If AWS is good enough to win government contracts, if it is recognized as critical to financial stability, then it also has a responsibility to stop fraud when it's running on its own infrastructure. This is why I've included these commissioner remarks as an exhibit in my filings. They show that AWS isn't just negligent in my case. They are failing in a role that regulators already view as central to protecting financial markets. The bottom line, AWS cannot claim to be a trusted partner to government and fintech industries while at the same time ignoring abuse reports, allowing pig butchering scams to operate, and shifting blame onto so-called foreign servers. These contradictions matter. To victims like me, to the courts, and to the regulators who already know AWS is too big to ignore. Links in the comments